Okay, we're already live. Okay, everyone, I'm happy here to be with Mr. Lance Keene. We're starting a series of real estate success investment stories. People who have been experienced buying and investing real estate in Colombia. So I'm glad to have a person that we have in contact for quite a few years from now. Mr. Lansky is a software developer. He's a Colombia lover, a dream chaser. But well, Lance, I just is the few things that you do. But tell us more about your background and let us
Uh,
know what you do and what takes you to this journey.
well, I own a software company in New Hampshire, and which is great because it allows me to live wherever I want. I live in New Hampshire because it's where I choose to live. I grew up here after traveling the world and being to a lot of different places. Wanted to raise a family here. The only problem was I didn't have a wife, and minor problem there. So I've always thought that Latino women were just beautiful, and that if I really wanted to have a Latino woman in my life, I had to learn Spanish. So I um, set some goals in 2006, and one was to learn Spanish, and I started chatting with girls in Colombia. And in my third semester of Spanish, I met a really beautiful girl, Tanya. In 2007, I went to visit her. We decided to become a couple, and we had a long distance relationship. Um, and then in 2008, we got married in Barranquilla, and we also got married again. Had a second wedding here in the United States, and so now we've been married, what, 13, 14 years, something like that, and we have
Yes.
three children.
How long from of being like in a long distance relationship? Almost 2 years.
Well, let's see. We met in November of 2006. I
Mm.
went in February of 2007. Got engaged in July of 2007, then married in February of 2008.
Wow,
Yeah,
quite fast, but at
yeah,
the end it's been a long marriage. You already have 14 years.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
people wonder if a long distance relationship can work, but I think it can, because you have to put a lot more effort into it. We literally talked every single day for 4 hours.
oh yeah.
I don't think I ever talked to a girl like that long in my life. So I just got very lucky. We have our
It's your first
personality
marriage.
just really clicked.
Okay, and it's
And
your first marriage.
no, that was my second marriage.
Okay,
So the way it came about, I was on business in Aruba. Believe it or not, I actually had a real estate client that needed some software developed. So I was down there in Aruba while I was going through a divorce with my first wife, and we talked about everything when we would go out to dinner every night, the things that were going on in the island, politics, software, and of course the divorce came up, and he said, "You should look into Colombian women." So I said, "Note to self: must learn Spanish." So,
that's where your first. I mean, touch with Colombia. You
um,
been in Colombia before?
well, yeah, no. Actually, the first thing was actually my first semester. I went down to visit with a girl, but it didn't work out. We just our personalities just didn't mesh. Yeah, I just didn't really feel it. But that was my first introduction to Colombia, and being in and then I was in Cartagena, which was beautiful. So I got to see a bit about the old city, and to learn about the culture. And so when
The
I ended up going down again, I was well adjusted to what it was like on the ground in
okay.
Colombia.
No, it wasn't your first time in Colombia. You already have been visited here. in
Yeah,
Cartagena.
just once before.
Yeah, because many of, I mean, the people who contact me is because that they already have a relationship. That's
Mm.
basically one of the main reasons, and I think it's fine because that's what we are also known for Colombian women. Not only the beautiful of the women, but
Well,
also that
I
are
just find
careful.
all the Colombians that I've had contact with in my wife's family just really warm, wonderful people, and I very much enjoy going back to Colombia. And we usually go back once every 2 years.
No, well, and let's start by the end. Do you still own a property in Colombia, and how is it performing?
Well, yes and no. There's actually we're on a second property. So the way we came into a property, at the time, my wife's family, most of her family was uh, in Barranquilla, and so half the family is in Barranquilla, the other half was in Valledupar. And when I started looking at it, I basically robbed her household of the last source of income that was my wife. So she had elderly parents, and I decided, I'm going to take care of her parents. So I paid rent and the bills and whatnot after we got married. But it was annoying to me that we're paying rent for a really, really old rundown house, and thought, geez, why don't we just buy a house? It would be much better off. So we
Yeah.
started looking around for a house, and we found one in Barranquilla, and it was a 5-bedroom house. We saved up in the neighborhood of $25,000, and then we bought the house for 50,000. We financed the rest of it.
Okay. And you said that initially you came up with the idea saying that you want to buy, not. I mean, it was not the family's idea; it was yours. You
Yeah,
saw
it was
that it
my
was
idea. Yeah, because
a
I just
potential.
it bothers me to pay rent, because when you're paying rent, you're paying off somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah,
So if you're an owner, at the end of the mortgage, you actually have something of value.
yeah, and how was it? Do you feel it? Do you feel that it was also a good investment, or what was your first intention or your first like yeah, the idea of buying, because maybe it was not only necessary, you can also switch from another better home.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a good investment. And when we eventually sold that house, we ended up getting we paid off the mortgage in a few years, and when we eventually sold it, we got more than double what we paid for it.
So you bought it in 50,000, fifty
Yeah,
thousand dollars
and
in
I think
in
that if I remember
2019.
correctly, I think we ended up selling it for 110,000.
Okay, so you bought it on 2019 in 50,000, and then you
Oh, no,
sold
no,
it.
no, that was
Sorry.
uh let's see, we bought the first house, I think that was probably around 2014 or 15,
Okay,
and we sold it in 2019.
okay, so it was like 3 4 years, 4 years,
Yeah,
and then you end up buying it, selling it in $120,000. That's
110,
dollars, right?
110. Yeah.
That's a pretty nice return.
All right. So my wife's brother Alfonso did a bit of work on the house, helped fix it up a bit more to get it ready for sale, and he helped us find a new house. He did a lot of stuff helping us, so we gave him some of the proceeds of the sale, and and we ended up buying another house in Valledupar. That was needless to say, it was a fixer upper. It was a one story house. I think it had 5 bedrooms, and we completely gutted it. Alfonso just took out everything,
Okay.
and we basically replaced everything, and had a structural engineer design it and put some steel beams into the top, and we added a second floor to it. And
Okay.
we did that all from the proceeds of the sale of the original house. So now that house is worth well over $200,000, something like 225,000 in valuation. So we took our little $50,000 investment and turned it into about $220,000 in a short amount of time.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, you already have like a stake here in Colombia about 250,000 dollars, and
Yeah.
that's the house that your in-laws is where they live.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So my father-in-law, my suegro, he lives there, and one of her sisters and her brother Alfonso and his wife and 3 kids.
Uh,
So we've got a lot of the a family living in that house for free, and just been a win-win for everyone.
okay. Okay. Well, coming back for the first buying, uh, some of the issues that find a foreign investor is not having financing or local financing. So how did you manage that?
Yeah, so the financing with the first house was really a struggle. We we reached out to I believe it was a company called Viventa, and they
Mhm.
helped us to organize the financing through Bank of Colombia, and they put together the deal for us. Um, but then Colombian law is different from American law, and what the bank did would have been illegal here in the United States. So we paid the bank, and then the bank didn't pay the seller, and
Okay.
the
Uh,
seller was
just
going.
just to explain a little bit more the process,
Yeah,
because the mortgage was in the name of your wife or directly to you. That was
both of us.
on the both of you because you already were married and you were married with a Colombian and that was a resident. So that was the easy part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know why the bank chose to do this, but it got to the point where the seller was, threatening a lawsuit every day, and like, we're on your side. We're trying to make this work, and we're calling the bank every day, and they sat on it for 3 months. And
Yeah.
I guess finally, when faced with the lawsuit, the bank finally uh, uh, gave the money to the seller, and
Yeah. Because,
we had already moved into the house
yeah. And
and
no.
repainted it and did everything and been there for 3 months. And the seller still didn't have his money. It was crazy. Now, the
Yeah.
second transaction went together a lot easier. My wife's brother-in-law is an attorney, and we had him do everything and check out everything, make sure everything ran smooth. And he was experienced in real estate, so it was really helpful having him involved in the second transaction to make sure everything ran smoothly, and that
And
went
that's
like
also because
clockwork.
it was a cash operation.
Yeah,
Basically,
that too. That too. We didn't have to deal with the
they
bank.
didn't require the financing or getting a mortgage or having anything of that. Okay. Yeah. Usually, I mean, the case when you get I mean, you are married with a Colombian, you can get a mortgage, and it's the bank the one who has to pay the seller. Basically, once you made the deed, they are uh, forced or yeah by law to pay. In they take well 1 month, but 3 months is not common, and yeah, sometimes it's important to to start pushing, and it depends also of the banks. Even Bancolombia is one of the biggest bank in Colombia, no?
Right, right. So we didn't think we'd have any problems with Bank Colombia because it's so well known, but so it was a total surprise to everyone involved.
Okay. So, well, and having all this experience and I already being the owner of making now two transactions, what is the most important lesson you have and that you can give also to first-time buyers?
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Colombia, I think you really need somebody on the ground who can help you with the transaction. Somebody who's fluent in the language, knows the nuances of real estate, dealing with the banks, finance, that has experience in that. Otherwise, it could just go completely haywire and it could go very bad.
Yeah, yeah, have some. I mean, things that are not pleasant for a buyer. More if you are paying from. I mean, another question: you pay also directly from the U.S. No, using the Colombian banks.
Yeah, so we had to wire the money there to Colombia.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's that you said it's important because even you have a relative here. Well, some of the things that came up uh, are not like the plan you initially had, no?
Right, right.
Okay, and well, and now what is your expectation? You expect that you're thinking that you could be maybe make another investment, or how you see the market in Colombia? Are your expectations about
My wife
basically?
is already talking about buying something. A bit outside of Valledupar, as you get further up into the mountains, there's really beautiful views, and she's talking about buying. She wants to get something up there. She, since the family has done this two times now, um, she would like to get some rental properties that she could rent out to Americans visiting. Valledupar is the kind of the music capital of Colombia. You can think of it as we think of Nashville, Tennessee here.
Yeah,
And, so a lot of Americans will will go to Valledupar to hear the famous Vallenato artists, and um, so it's popular with Americans. And she would love to do a rental property, an Airbnb thing up in the mountains around Valledupar.
that's great. Yeah, for those who don't know what is vallenato, vallenato is one of the most popular music at the coast. Is well, basically is the accordion. Accordion is this what you said in English? Accordion.
Accordion, yeah, yeah.
Accordion, yeah. And there is a very popular festival that goes with the best, not only in vallenato but also in other music. And festival is very known for his well,
Are,
all
are you are you
the
familiar with the Los Hermanos Zuleta?
yeah, sure, sure.
My
Most
my my
Sylvester
wife's
Stallone.
my wife's last name is Zuleta Diaz, and Los Hermanos Zuleta are the cousins of her father.
Ah, okay. So you're related with vallenato. That's great. And do you like vallenato?
I do. I remember, when I was visiting with Tanya, she was still in college in Barranquilla, and I'd hang out on the street, uh, and have a couple of beers while she was in her class. And I remember buying some Vallenato, some CDs. Somebody's going around selling CDs on the street, and I wanted to, add some more Colombian music to my collection, and I bought some Vallenato, and I showed her this. I bought Los Hermanos Zuleta, and she said, "Oh, those are my relatives."
That's great. That's nice. Yeah, no, now Sylvester Angoni is the one who is rocking it. And well, no, Lance, it's very nice to have your experience. just to finish, I know that you, as I mentioned initially, you are a dream chaser. You started building your own castle in New Hampshire.
Yeah,
So then you can share us
that's
a
why
little
my
bit
wife
of
wants to buy it, a new property in Valledupar. Like, geez, we got to get the castle done first. So the castle project was when I moved back to New Hampshire after being away for 20 years. I set three goals: one, to find the woman of my dreams, settle down and start a family; two, move back to New Hampshire; and then three, build a medieval castle. When I was in the army, I lived in Germany, and I visited a lot of castles. And I'm also an artist, and I bought this extraordinary property on the top of a mountain in New Hampshire, inside of the national forest. And it just has spectacular views. It looks like it's out in the middle of nowhere, but we're really only 20-minute drive away from civilization, where there's supermarkets and schools and universities. So it's really the best of both worlds. And if you saw the view, you would say, "Wow, you really need to put something special here." So I've been working on the castle for 21 years now,
wow.
and we've got about 4 more years before we can move in.
Wow.
I worked every year on it during the
How
summer.
many years left? How many years left to end up to end the
About four.
four? Ah, that's great.
Last year we poured about 146 cubic yards of concrete into the first floor walls, and this year I'll be putting the timber on the second floor to hold up the second floor. Next year we'll be doing the second floor walls. Once all that's done, so that's 2023. 2024 is when everything starts coming together. That's when I hire a professional builder to finish it out and to do all the things that I'm not qualified to do, like electrical and plumbing. And
Okay.
I certainly don't want to be on the roof. Yeah,
Ah, so
it's
you will not
the
be,
younger man's job.
yeah, you will be traveling between the mountains of New Hampshire and the valleys of Valledupar and Barranquilla. The heat and well, the
Let me
cold,
just
no?
shut that off. Mhm.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's great to know. So, well, Lance, thank you very much again for sharing your story, and hope everything goes
One
fine.
more note: if you want to take a look at the castle, you can see it at our castle website. It's keenecastle.com, spelled Keene, castle.com. You can see a bit about the construction project. And you might even find a few pictures of my wife and I on there too.
Yeah, it's sure great. Yeah, I saw your website, and it looks very nice, the castle. So yeah, you can also share also pictures of your family and your property in Barranquilla.
Mhm. Well, to tell you the truth, you know what? We have not seen the house in Valledupar because of the pandemic. We haven't been there yet. We were supposed
Oh
to
yeah.
go this year.
How long have you been
Yeah,
absent from
I think
Colombia?
the last time we were there was
Like two
20,
and a half years, maybe.
2019, maybe.
Yeah, the end of 2019.
2018. I can't remember which year we went, but yeah. And last year we like to go down for Christmas, and I kind of screwed up the passports and didn't realize that two of my kids and myself, our passports expired, and it was
Uh,
getting really too close to Christmas to try and book a ticket. And you don't want to book tickets if you don't have passports in hand.
yeah, yeah. Well, no, it would be nice to have you here again.
Yeah, so
So,
we'll probably be down there. Yeah, we'll probably be down there in December this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new house. I've only seen pictures of it, and of course, we're on WhatsApp with the family every single day, so we see the inside of the house a lot.
okay, great, great, Lance. So, well, so I hope you have a great rest of the day. So we are gonna end it here. Whatever you need, Mr. Keene has his keenecastle.com, and whatever you need to know also about how to invest in real estate in Colombia, You can also visit my website, buycolombiarealty.com. Also visit my profile in LinkedIn. So I'll be glad to let you know whatever you need in this journey. I'm happy to share stories like Mr. Lance, and we'll keep also posting stories like that. So thank you, and see you in another video. Bye.
All right. Take care.